Good afternoon, family. It is February 22nd, 2022. So it's 2/2/22 or 2/22/22, and it's Tuesday. So it's Tuesday, 2/22/22. If you're new here, my name is Jonathan, and I created this channel as a way to record my progress as I work on reaching my goal of achieving a healthy weight. If you enjoy these videos, make sure that you do subscribe to the channel. Also, make sure that you click on the bell icon so you get alerted when I go live. If you'd like to participate in on the discussion, you can join me live at 4 p.m. on weekdays or outside of the live streams. If you'd like to reach me, you can contact me through our Discord. There's a link for the Discord down in the description below. That's a great place for you guys to kind of share your stories. Let me know what your goals are and how things are going for you. Um, Also, down in the description below, I have a link for a Pinterest board. What that is a place where we put a lot of these recipes that we're trying. So if during one of my videos I refer to a meal or a recipe, a lot of times you can find those recipes in the Pinterest link below. Also, if you're looking for ideas for yourself, that's a great place to go. Today is day 479 of my 3-year challenge to lose 300 pounds. So far, I've used a combination of extended water fasting and a whole food plant-based diet to lose 200 pounds. I still have over a year and a half left. I have like 20 months, 20 and a half months to go of my challenge here. Things are going great. My goal is to get as close to getting to 200 or 220 pounds by the end of this year so that I can find a way to maintain that weight loss throughout 2023. If anybody has any non-scale victories they'd like to share, I'd love to hear your guys' non-scale victories. Any questions, comments, anything you want to bring up, that would be great. The Switching over here. I hope all you guys had a great evening and a great day today. Yesterday, I had a few things in the afternoon, but it wasn't too rough of a day, which is great because I was still a little bit sore from doing the trampolining on Sunday. Still have a little bit of soreness, but not really that bad. My upper kind of shoulders and back are a little sore. I think just from having to kind of push myself up. There was a few different things, or the one of the things we did was jumping from the trampoline into like this big airbag thing, and you had to climb up like this 2.5, 3 foot high uh wall essentially to get out of that pit back up to where the trampolines were. So I think that's why I have any soreness in my upper body. And then my calves were more sore yesterday. I don't notice it so much today. I really am surprised I am not more sore just based on the amount of time that we were doing the trampolining and that we were bouncing around. Um, it was definitely a pretty good workout for me. Um, so yeah, a little bit of soreness, but not too bad overall. And just, I mean, it's to be expected. I haven't done really much physical activity in the past year, or at least I'm sorry, in the past 6 months since getting injured. Uh, and There was a lot of new muscle groups being used with the trampoline. For dinner yesterday, we had one of the meals that we've had a couple times before, and I feel like it's been hit or miss. But last night it was good. Carrie assured me that she did it to recipe, followed the recipe completely. And the meal we had, it was called an autumn loaf. It really has a lot of like basil and those spices in it. So it reminded me a lot of like stuffing that you would have at Thanksgiving. which, it's called an autumn loaf, so that's to be expected. Um, and I really enjoyed it. I actually had 2 slices of the autumn loaf, and then Carrie had also made some baked potatoes. So I had a baked potato with our mustard dressing, So that was pretty simple for dinner last night. I also did snack on some cashews. We do have a lot of cashews in our house right now. I went to Costco the other day and spent a small fortune on different varieties of nuts at Costco, and was very disappointed they didn't have my mangoes there that I really like to have. But it probably was a good thing that they didn't have the mango, uh, because that would have just added to any the eating that I've had since last week. And I don't need to have more eating because, like I talked about on stream yesterday, we did have that KFC. Um, so autumn loaf for dinner, potato, cashews, and then something we hadn't had for a couple days, and it really is an odd thing that I never thought would be a regular part of my diet, but I drink this cherry juice that Carrie gets from uh Walmart. It's I don't even know what the name of the cherry juice is. Comes in this red and black bottle. I think they're like $5 a bottle. She was able to get a really good deal on them a couple weeks ago, so she like stocked up on them, and then she wasn't in the routine of picking them up, and I ran out of them. But anyways, I drink that. It's kind of like, I guess, like my soda for the day is I drink this cherry juice because uh I cut out all of the natural waters uh shoot, a month ago now, I guess, is what I got rid of drinking any of those. um I can't even think of the names of them right now. LaCroix and those types of things, the flavored sparkling carbonated waters. Cut those out. So the cherry juice is just kind of a nice treat that I probably spend too much money on with how expensive the bottles are. But like I said, we had them on sale there for a while and it wasn't so bad. But anyways, so yeah, I had the cherry juice, but that was really all I had last night. I didn't snack on anything. What ended up happening actually was my son, our oldest, is just getting into Boy Scouts now. He transitioned from Cub Scouts and is now in Boy Scouts. So he had his first kind of Boy Scout meeting last night, and it was an unconventional meeting. It was uh, not at the regular place, and so I went with him. And what they were doing last night, it was kind of cool that we were able, or that the Boy Scouts were able to get this organized. But kind of near where we live, there is an old quarry that they had for years and years. It's near the Mississippi, and at one point it flooded, and so there's this large pond that is an old quarry near where we live, and that's all frozen over right now because it's winter. And they got permission from the homeowners that the Boy Scouts could go out there, and they kind of did like a they they did curling. What's going on with the Winter Olympics, where they take the big pucks and they slide them across the ice and they try to get them towards the target. I don't know why I got that cough today. Uh so the kids, it's different, Cub Scouts versus Boy Scouts, because Boy Scouts, the kids, or the kids that are Boy Scouts, I think, run the meetings and everything. So it's not so leader driven like Cub Scouts was. But they set up and they did this curling on the pond. It was really cool. I mean, it was very simple. All they did was they took some spray paint and they just spray painted some circles on the ice, so that way it'll just go away, I guess, or it'll wash away. And then they had collected a bunch of milk cartons, and they filled the milk cartons with water and they froze them. And so the kids used milk cartons as their curling pucks, or I guess I don't know what the actual thing is called that they slide, but I'm gonna call it a puck. But they used the milk jugs to do that, and then they just tried to get to the center of the circle, and they had drawn uh a couple circles so they could kind of tell who was closer to the middle without having to measure every time. And the kids had a great time. A friend of mine, his son is in Boy Scouts, so I got a chance to catch up with him for a little while. But it was interesting, or the we were on the ice the whole time, and uh, I don't know how I would have handled that at 520 pounds. I mean, well, the first off, at my old weight, I probably wouldn't have stayed at all. I would have dropped him off and said, "Hey, I'll be back in an hour and a half." Uh, but I wanted to kind of check out and see what the deal was, and so I got to spend an hour and a half on the ice, which probably wasn't the best thing for my legs, because on ice your feet are always kind of moving, and oh shoot, I screwed up everything here because oh, all my audio still works. Okay. You can't really walk on ice. You have to kind of slide on ice. And the kids were real nervous because the ice is really thick because it's been cold for a long time. But yesterday it was like 40 degrees. Even at night when we were doing it, it was very warm. So there was like spots on the ice where there was like water puddled. So it was weird being on the ice while it was so nice outside. What you think about being on ice and being freezing cold. But they had their drills out and they measured the depth and made sure that it was thick enough. And it was plenty thick enough for the amount of people that were on there. But it was a good time, and I was on my feet, and it was probably more of a workout than I even planned on it being. Just because I felt like I was doing a lot of sliding around and moving around at the thing. So that really, the nice thing about that too is it got me out of the house, which keeps me away from the pantry. And being away from the pantry means I'm not eating the cashews and the heart healthy mix of nuts that I bought at Costco, or all of that junk food. Or no, it's not junk food, but you know what I mean. All that snack food. So that was our evening last night. So um I'm nervous about tomorrow's weigh-in because of the weekend, but I weigh in on, I weigh in live once a week on Wednesday, but I keep track of my weight. I weigh in the morning and sometimes in the middle of the day, and then sometimes right before stream, you know. Just enough to kill the battery in a couple weeks. No, but um anyways, I was super nervous that the scale was going to blow up, and it kind of did. It went I was ooh, 2 or 3 pounds heavier yesterday than I am today. And so yesterday I was super nervous that I had that and it was going to be a pain to get the weight off, and then today I'm not so nervous. But then I'm also nervous that I am like I should be I don't I can't beat myself up over having the KFC this weekend, because it really, I mean, it was the vegan plant-based nuggets. It wasn't like I had chicken. But me and Carrie have talked about it a few times in that we're for a long time been very we were I was very strict and I want to continue to be very strict on the diet. And I find the most success with my weight loss when I'm strict on the diet. But we don't live in a vacuum. Things happen. You get put into situations. You have mistakes. Things uh, happen. And what we kind of have talked about is that when those things happen, uh, like when we've gone out to eat, like the first time we went out and had a meal that was prepared, it was kind of a fast food place called Dirt Burger that had a bean based burger patty that they sold. And there was kind of part of us in the back of our minds, I think, that like we wanted to like have a really negative reaction to that food so that it would be easy for us to say, well, I don't want to do that. And what happens is the stuff that we are bringing in isn't making us that kind of sick. Like if we were to eat dairy, I'm sure that my body would have some interesting things happen for a day at least, or a few days, if we introduced animal products back into our systems. But when it's just adding more salt and sugar, it's not it's not wreaking havoc on us like um you kind of almost wish it would, so that it would scare you away from doing it again. Carrie's checking and saying hello. Hello, Carrie. I hope everything's going great at home today. And so it's tough. Like when I had KFC this weekend and I want to lose weight Wednesday, but I also kind of want to be able to sit here and say KFC screwed up my weight loss. And I guess what I have to kind of do and again, I won't know the actual number till I get on the scale tomorrow and I know whether I lost weight or stayed the same. I don't imagine I'm going to gain weight based off of what I am right now, but um I could have been further along, maybe. It's such a weird thing, cuz I wouldn't have had those calories, but then maybe I would have had different calories that evening. I've been really conscious of what I've been eating since the moment I've had that, so I haven't had extra calories. Whereas if I wouldn't have had that, maybe I wouldn't have cared last night and I would have piled on a bunch of cashews or ate another bowl of shredded wheat, like it's hard to say. But um I'm just happy that it doesn't appear to have screwed me up too bad. Um, but what's crazy too is that, like that 2 pounds that I was heavier yesterday, or 3 pounds, I think it might even been that I was heavier yesterday than today. And to think about how that is just from adding some added salt and oil to my diet. And I noticed kind of that bump, and I noticed my body, like my gas smelled pretty bad, or like there was some things that like I could feel internally that I had eaten greasy food, and that I actually could notice it, which is wild to think of that, because 2 years ago I was just gorging myself with anything that looked edible. And like I had gotten myself like where I was eating such a volume of food that I was almost like throwing up from being too full or eating too much. Like I would get nauseous because I was eating too much food and it was too high in calories and my body couldn't process it. Uh and now like I can tell the difference if I just add a little bit of extra table salt. Um, it's just wild to think that it's the same kind of. I don't know, just wild. Um, don't have a whole lot else to talk about today. Carrie is wanting to run some errands this afternoon, so I think I'm gonna call it kind of quick today. Um, I will be on tomorrow. I hoping to see a loss on the scale. I don't crazy, because if it, yeah, we'll see what happens. I'm not sure what I'm gonna do tonight. I'm not sure what I'm gonna do for breakfast tomorrow, but I will see you guys tomorrow for weigh-in Wednesday. I'm gonna get out of here. Make sure you get subscribed to my channel. Click on the bell icon so you'll get alerted when I go live. If you haven't started your diet yet, get started right now. There's no reason to wait. There is nothing coming up that is more important than your health, your overall well being. There's no events, that I am thinking of what I say next. What do I say next? It is nobody reaches their goal, wishes they would have waited to get started. So get started right now. Go all in, guys. Don't fall for the myth of moderation, the myth of moderate consumption. You know, our bodies are designed to eat all the food that's around us and to pack those calories in. So you aren't going to magically just start eating less food. You can't cut back on what you're eating now. If you could just cut back, you would have been able to do it years ago, I'm sure. And the myth of moderate change. I truly believe that if you want to see some big changes, you're going to have to make big changes. And if you're just going to make the change anyways, then why drag it out? What's the reason to suffer through that time? So get started right now, guys. I will talk to you tomorrow.